બધા જે કુક છે બધા સર્વર છે.
Hari Om, Namaste. Namaste ji.
Hariom.
Hari Om.
Hari Om ji,
Namaste.
Namaste. There was some network issue. Namaste, Rakesh ji, Adipti ji, Rajshri ji, Vasudev ji, Bhama ji. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Namaste
Namaste.
ji. Hariom.
Namaste ji. Yes, ji, I think
Hari.
we can begin with the invocation. Yes, please. सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धे भवतु मे सदा मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानंदम कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुम. Hari Om. So we are now entering what is the 18th Adhyaya of the Gita. Yes, please. Anybody, can you recollect something that we saw last? So we can establish the link and begin. I just request participants to, if somebody who has access to your phone, please drop a message that the session has started. Yes, please. Can anybody recollect? What is it that we saw last? Ji.
About the three types of charities,
Ha ha.
about the three types of nature
Ji, ji.
the human beings have,
Ji.
and four types of food that is digested.
About 4 types of food that are digested. Hari Om. Ji. Yes, Hari Om. So,
Hari Om.
Ji. So 3 types of was Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva. That is entering into the Ahar, into the Yajna, into the Dana, into the Tapa, and ultimately there is a triple formula that Krishna revealed. Om Tat Sat. So this Om Tat Sat is our connection with the cosmic divine. It is like what we can say, a medium, a link. Like they say, the Ashwatha tree is a link between the eternal and the material. So something like that. This mantra is the word. It is the divine. It is like a Shabda Brahma only. This is what we can equate to a Mahavakya also. Om Tat Sat. Shrivanda's Upanishad also very beautifully describes and expounds on it. Om Tat Sat. Yach Satchidevam Tat Chinmayam Tad Anandamaya Nandamayo Nadyantaha. That is the Sanatan, that is the Bhagavan, that is the ultimate. So this we have seen about Om Tat Sat. Krishna shares this and he says Om Hari Om Ji, Hari Om. Can someone just tell what Om Tat Sat could symbolize? Krishna has described that. People who know the science of the Vedas are able to understand the meaning is what Krishna says, and that is why they use this. Anybody? Anything about Om Tat Sat, the triple mantra? What is Om, what is Tat referring to, and what is Sat? Of course, we are just trying to understand a link. If we have got the full realization of Om Tat Sat, we will be in a different state of Ananda. We may not be talking also at that moment. So,
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Yes, please. Hari Om Gita ji. Hari Om Nek ji. Yes, please.
Ji, Om is Pranava mantra.
Pranav mantra, Bija mantra, Adi mantra. It is the beginning of everything. It is recognized. That is why the great yogis begin with Om. Perfectly said. Yes, Dr. Pushpaji. And then what is Tat?
Tat is Supreme Brahma.
Brahman. Is it not like English? That. Tattvamasi. That is Brahman. So the Tat is allowing us to connect to the Brahman. Tat. And Sat.
Sat is root of Satya.
Root of Satya, the highest truth that is possible, that is cognizable for man, that is Sat. Sat can be used to define all that is brilliant, all that is beautiful, all that is perfect. So yes, with this I think we are ready to enter into what is the 18th Adhyaya. 17 Adhyayas are up. Do you think Arjuna is going to have any questions now, or it is now Krishna is just going to give a summary? Arjuna has had enough questions. Yes, please, what do you think? Anybody? Yes? We'll start immediately. Yes, Savitri ji. Yes, please.
if we get such type of knowledge, the higher knowledge, where we understand the ultimate reality,
Yeah,
so I think after that we want to go for sannyasa
we got
or
okay. We feel like yes, indeed, is it not? Wanting to go to sannyas after getting the highest realization. So many yogis have they say, I have got everything. Now what more is required? Now that's a natural tendency. Now what more if divine is there? Arjuna was
because
also yes, ji. Yes, please continue,
because
ji.
जैसे कि हिंदी में हम भजन गाते हैं कि पाना था जो पा लिया और बाकी क्या रहा.
Yes, yes. Or kya? We have got Gopal. Now what more is required? Now that is a
But
natural feeling.
Shishiji,
Yeah.
Krishna has always talked about karma yoga. Even if he
Yes.
attain
Ha.
the sannyas mode, but he, in the since the beginning, and he has always instilled this in everybody, and especially when we're still kid,
Okay.
he
So
was always talking about karma
we
yoga.
cannot disappear, is it not?
Yeah.
One famous Maharaj was there, he had gone into a particular state of meditation for so long that his thigh had got attached to his cuff. For so long, he was in that position only. He never came out. He was in a permanent trance kind of samadhi state only. Only very little bit he would consume, but his position he would not change. So, a lot of people would come and get darshan, and that time I think Damleji was a young executive, and that time his friend also said, let us go there. And yes, what do you think there? So now he doesn't really pronounce on anybody else, but that time as a young person he said, yes, he's gone, he's achieved some place, he's gone to that state. But still, that's not the end. Something else is there, something else is still required. That was what he felt. So same way, I think as Deeptiji said, yes, even after that Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivam. Are we going to forget everything? Who is our Name Mrityu Shanka Name Jati Veda Pida Neva Me Neva Mata Na Janma Na Bandhu Na Mitram Na Guru Na Shishya. So in that state now I have no Mata, I have no
Krishna has
Pita.
always said you are
Yes.
born for the purpose. You have to
Yes,
fulfill
yes.
that purpose
Arjuna
in life.
cannot suddenly leave his battlefield. Arjuna has a direction. So, yes, that is true. And so it is Arjuna's question. Arjuna wants to reclarify this because, again, whenever Krishna goes to the highest truth, Arjuna connects it with the ground. It's a beautiful relation of Krishna and Arjuna because it is like divine and the spirit of creation and the spirit of manifestation working in tandem. Krishna needs Arjuna to do his work, but Krishna is not dependent only on Arjuna. So executive spirit is required, executive force is required. Arjuna is doing that. Every time Krishna goes, he asks, whenever he goes to Brahma Vidya kingdom, he says, but what about this? Tat kim karma, yat kim karmani, ghore mam, he says, what is this? Ghor karma you are asking. If you are talking about Atman and superiority, Nainam Chinnati Shastrani, why am I having Shastra in my hand? These are all his questions. So this Adhyaya also we are lucky. Like I said, we are blessed. Arjuna asked so many questions, so we had a good Gita journey. Otherwise, if I was in Arjuna's place, it would have been the most boring Gita. It would have been Krishna would have said fight. I would have asked what to do. He said fight. I would have said okay, sir, and over. There would have been no dialogue. Because Arjuna has this dialogue, we can understand a lot of different deeper aspects of life as well. So yes, with this we are ready. Let us just begin with a short illustration. This will be described later on in the Gita. He said, Navame Jati Bhedaha. So something similar is this illustration. What is Krishna saying? Yes, please. Anybody? Can someone describe?
The, these are the four different castes or sects that we said
Okay.
that
Yes.
Brahma, Vaishya, Shudra, and Kshatriya.
Okay.
Brahmin is like somebody who's in the state of like giving or taking knowledge.
Meditation is sitting quietly. He's
Meditation.
got a
Kshatriya
hello.
is having the Shastra, that means
Yes.
ready to defend
Yes.
his territory.
Yes.
Shudra is the one who's contributing in cleaning,
Yes.
I mean, taking part in that process. And Vaishya is like he's holding them. It's like more of a, as we say, the business,
Okay.
the act of it's
It
like a
could be a
cycle,
yeah.
but there's an equal to sign like Brahmin is equal to Kshatriya. That means some, I guess, sometime or the other, it's like one person is performing different parts of each.
G, G, G.
That's what equal to feels like.
So they're okay, all right. So which of these is greater then? Which of these four?
No, if they're
No.
performing each and every part in every different time, then no one is greater. Like,
Is it something like division of labor concept that we have in modern days, where labor is divided among different people? Each person has their
no,
role, they have to perform their role for the functioning of the society.
no. If we think that they can be like, it can also be thought like there's one person who's performing these different roles.
All right.
Then there is no difference.
If there is, okay, that is also interesting because we have this division of labor in modern society. Our importers from USA, the marketing manager had come, and as he was visiting, and I just told him, see this village there, there is actually prevalent caste-based discrimination taking place. So when I just told it to him, he said in USA also it takes place. I was like, what? I was surprised. I said, what do you mean? He said, no, we have a different system. We call it class system. There's a group of doctors, there's a group of lawyers, there's a group of others. Each have formed their own class and then they don't mingle with each other. They consider themselves to be elite. Each person is forming a group. So what we see is this, if you see Varna is described, Jati is not described in the Gita. Varna, and Varna is one. Arjuna is worried about Varna Sankara in first Adhyaya. But Krishna says Chaturvarna I have created, and the reason we will see later what is Krishna's clarification, because a lot of people misuse the Gita also, stating Arjuna's statement as Krishna is talking about importance of one Varna over another Varna. 18th Adhyaya makes it very very clear. We will come to that. But yes, it is like four limbs of a table or a stool. You cut one limb, what's going to happen to that stool? It will lose its stability. So that is something like that. These are the Chatur Varna. This was one of the four, like we had the great four Purusharthas. Like that, they are essential for an individual. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So like that, these Chatur Varna are also very, very important. So yes, all four are equal. If you look at the tagline below, as per the Gita, caste, we are using the word caste because it's in modern perspective. Krishna does not use the word caste. Caste is a creation of what we can say we have only created afterwards. But the Varnas were there. How is it important? How is it not? We'll see when it comes in the Gita. But the principle is clear in this Adhyaya. The equality. Krishna says here, as per the Gita, it is not based upon the birth but upon the nature of the individual. All four castes are equal and no caste is either high or low in comparison to other. When everybody is divine. Tasmat Shudro Jayataha. Purusha Sukta says, I am Brahman, I am Kshatriya, I am everything. Purusha is Brahman also, Purusha is Kshatriya, Purusha is Vaishya, Purusha is Shudra. Different limbs of the Supreme Purusha, the Chaturvarna, is what Vedic times Purusha Sukta speaks about. So the divinity of all four Varnas is clear. But anyway, let us now go in. We will look at this when it comes to that. Let us just enter into the Adhyaya. Arjuna asks this question. Let us see. Same question what Savitri ji was talking about, sannyasa. This is the first word of this shloka also. Krishna is asked this question. He says, Sannyasasya mahabaho tattvam veditum tyagasya cha rishikesha pruthak keshina shudana. Arjuna said, O mighty armed one, O Krishna, O Lord of every being, I wish to verily understand sannyasa's meaning and also the fundamentals of tyag. I need to know what the underlying principles are. Please show. He says, I want to understand in principle what is sannyas, what is tyag. Now, if anybody recollect, Krishna has already told sannyasa's meaning before in the Gita? Yes? Does anyone recollect? Somewhere in the Gita, have we heard of this sannyasa? He is the sannyasi, he is the yogi.
Karma phala sannyas, I mean,
Yes.
everything, do everything and arpan.
As an arpan. And he said then the householder also can get the same status which a grahastha can also achieve the same thing as what a brahmachari can get or what a sannyasi can do if they do madarpanam. That is the important aspect. But Arjuna here wants a very clear-cut explanation from Krishna because many times there are grey areas and people misuse the grey areas. So Krishna has to clarify according to Arjuna. Tell me clearly what is sannyasa, what is tyaga. Now Krishna begins. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Before we begin this, I just next few shlokas are interesting, but before that, I just want to say when sometimes some people say something silly, and when we say these are wise people, a very wise person, he is an intelligent person. Sometimes we say about friends, one person does something very wrong and starts talking about it as if it is very right. We say, that person is an intelligent one. Does that mean I am calling that person intelligent, or does that mean I am being sarcastic only? Sarcasm only, no, is it not? So we'll have to look at this and we'll see whether Krishna is actually calling this intelligent or is he being sarcastic. First, he is going to give views and opinions of people before he gives his own opinion, because Arjuna wants to know Krishna's opinion, but Krishna begins with what different people say. So probably we can only analyze and see whether Krishna is standing by this view or is he just reporting and saying in a neutral way. So we hear the learned when he is speaking learned, is he correctly explaining the learned only? Because I think Arjuna has also been Pruthak Balaha. When he says, so many times Krishna has used that. This is Ekam Sankham Cha Yogam Cha Yah Pashyati Sah Pashyati. At that time also he says, what is this? You are suddenly speaking like an intellectual, suddenly like an awakened person. So there Krishna uses this sarcasm. I think we are going to see a bit of that here also. Let us see what Krishna speaks. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasam Sanyasam Kavayo Viduhu Sarva Karma Phalatyagam Prahustyagam Vichakshanaha. The learned consider sannyasa to be total abstention from the prescribed duties and actions and absolute abnegation. But tyaga implies not a complete abstinence. Giving up the fruits of all actions is its key essence. So some wise people say complete renunciation is sannyasa. But tyaga does not mean that. Tyaga means only sarva karma phala. Tyaga means all the fruits of actions. That is real tyaga. Not wanting an expectation, not having an expectation, not wanting something in return. I speak to a friend, I speak to somebody. I don't speak because I need to get something in return, because they are going to praise me, because I am going to get a good name, or because they are going to get something from me, or they are going to help me. All these factors should not be your direction. You are a mitra, you have a Maitri Dharma. So speak what is right. Most of the problems happen because Maitri Dharma is not upheld by the mitras only. Duryodhana is not told what you are doing is wrong, because no, I do not want this person to feel bad, or I don't want to go into the bad books of this person. So how many great Mahabharatas are we going to wait for? We've seen the experience of one Mahabharata, it is so horrible. How are we going to allow that to happen in life? So this is not having expectations, that is tyaga in whatever action we do. In every action that we do, we need to just uphold our duty, but not seek the fruits. The same thing what Krishna told in the second Adhyaya. Tyajam dosha vidityeke karma prahur manishinaha yajna dana tapah karma na tyajam iti chapare. By some literate men it is thus pronounced, it is necessary for all actions to be renounced. Now here literate can be taken as a sarcastic way also, because Krishna's view is not the same thing at all. He says some people say all actions only must be renounced, don't do any actions. But by some others, this view is subjected. Sacrifice, offering, and penance alone shouldn't be neglected. So some others say, no. Except these three, you will renounce everything else. Except sacrifice, except penance, and except dana. Except yajna, dana, tapa. Except these three, renounce everything else. So let us see what is Krishna's opinion now. Nishchayam shrunume tatra tyage bharata sattama tyago hi purusha vyagra Trivedaha sam prakirtitaha. Listen to me as I declare my conclusions for you to clear the air. O Arjuna, O fiercest amongst warriors, listen to me. Renunciation 2 is of modes 3. So he says, hey Purusha Vyagra, you tiger among the men, listen, I am going to tell you, your doubts will be cleared now. Even renunciation is of 3 modes. Looks like our Rajas, Tamas, Sattva are not going to leave us. Wherever we go, these 3 gunas are going to come into play. Let us see what Krishna says. Yajna dana tapa karma na tyajam karyameva tat yajna danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. Sacrifice, penance and offering, these actions 3 must be verily performed. Neglected they shouldn't be. Why? For they bring about in the wise an inner purification. and lead verily in the soul's emancipation. So Krishna says, Yajna, Dana and Tapa, these three must be definitely done. One shouldn't neglect these three. Meaning, if Krishna has said that, it really has so many reasons. We need to try to abide by that. Whatever profession we are, we can do some yajna, we can do some dana, we can do some tapa, or more than can. Krishna says it must be done. Though he doesn't give an order that I decree that you must do it. Krishna never gives an order. He says it is up to you. Swayam chintan kijiye, swayam vichar kijiye, think on your own, choose your way, but this is right. He can give us hints. It's like water can be brought to the horse, but you cannot make the horse drink the water. The horse has to take it. It is something like that. Yajna, Dana and Tapa. This must be done because this brings about an inner purification. Just try participating in some action of Dana, whatever type of Dana it is. The joy that comes in doing it, that is unparalleled. Maybe it is Ananda when it is done in the right sattvic way. We may be getting a glimpse of that Amrutattva. We may be getting that taste. When we are doing a sacrifice also, when done in the sattvic manner. When there is this tapa also, Krishna has told all the different types of tapa. The feeling that comes, it is a divine feeling. It is a separate Ananda. It is an Ananda that every human being must taste. It brings about a purification also. The person rises. In our life also, all sacrifices that we have done only have led us to where we are today. And every sacrifice has helped us rise higher in consciousness only. Same is the case when you do with dana also. So tapa also must be done along with the yajna. Let us, like sometimes we don't have certain faculties. With tapasya you can cultivate those faculties. So for that also we need to do that. We cannot close our sight. One person is having a great taste in bhakti. He says, I like bhakti rasa. That is my choice. But he cannot close his door towards getting knowledge. Jnana will help. It is like it will enhance the bhakti. This is not something which is opposite. Or same way I am lost in bhakti, I cannot do karma. Krishna will only have to come and then say, Arey, why are you not doing karma? But then that time it will take too late. Why to waste that much time? Instead of that, engage in all three. So Krishna says here that even all of this yajnas, like that, even this sannyasa is of three types. Tyaga is of three types. Let us see. Sixth shloka. Etanyapito karmani sangam tyaktva phalani cha kartavyani time partha nishchitam matam uttamam. This is, O Arjuna, even while these actions are performed, this following principle must be conformed. All actions must be done in a state of detachment without holding on to any fruitive attachment. So all the yajna, all the dana, all the tapa, they must be done still following the same principle of mam phaleshu kadachana. Never. This is an unnecessary aspect. Just imagine if you become conscious, even post Gita, is like it's always said life is two, like people who have studied the Gita, they say it is pre-Gita and post-Gita. Because once you start implementing the Gita, everything in life appears in a different light. It's like suddenly your room, which had a very dull light bulb with a low wattage, has suddenly been replaced with a brighter one. Everything becomes clearer. So assuming you still have a tendency to have attachments or seek fruits, just okay, you want to, if you are not able to let go of them, just watch what happens because of your seeking. How many times is it helping you, or how many times it's actually troubling you? Your own experience will tell you that it's not worth it. Why seek anything? Because you will not get what you seek. It is said you get what you deserve, not what you desire. So what are we going to desire all the things and keep experiencing failure after failure because desires are not fulfilled? So Krishna says, yes, do all of these. It's important to do this. Yajna, dana and tapa. We cannot say I'm doing my job so I cannot do anything. While you are doing your job also you can do this. It should be an important aspect. Somebody who is engaging in dana as a part of a job also should understand that other yajna also must be done. Tapasya also must be done. Otherwise you will start stagnating. And the world is always revolving. So for us to stay in one place, we have to keep moving also. Otherwise we'll be left behind. This is the rule of the world, the way of nature. Karma has to be done. Krishna has already said that. But no phala is what Krishna says. Let us go on. Niyatasya tu sannyasah karmano nopapadyate mohatasya parityagaha tamasah parikirtitaha. The abnegation of prescribed actions is not proper. Such an approach is a tamas type of renunciation that has arisen simply out of ignorance's illusion. So, your duty, your action which you must be doing, that you are not allowed to let go no matter what excuse is there. Arjuna cannot give any justification to run away from this battle. If he is doing that, he is not doing a renunciation, it is not a tyaga, it is just one convenient escape from duty, and it is a tamasic type of renunciation. It is improper. It is arisen out of ignorance. Look at what was Arjuna's ignorance. He said, if I die unarmed also, I will get some glory. What glory would he have received? Arjuna would be known as coward. Nobody will name their child Arjuna in the future if Arjuna had run away. Because he thinks, in his illusion, he thinks he will get some glory. People will think what a noble person he is. He just went and left his weapons. And what would happen to other people? All the others who have joined, knowing Arjuna is on their side, they are willing to risk their life. What would happen to when Arjuna was alive, they were treating like this Draupadi? What would happen if all of them were not there? These are all factors which did not come to his head because he was trapped in the illusion which is moha, which is maya, and he did not understand, but he felt it was logical, his renunciation. So this is tamasic. So if our duties we are forgetting, we can understand we are in the state of illusion, and this is a tamasic action. Sometimes withdrawing is good, but this is not withdrawal, this is a cowardice, and this is fleeing is what Krishna is saying. 8th shloka. दुःखमित्येव यत्कर्म कायक्लेश भयात् त्यजेत् स कृत्वा राजसं त्यागं नैव त्याग फलं लभेत्. Here, he who renounces his works due to depression or due to bodily discomfort or a troubled apprehension, such a person engages in a rajas type of abstention and gains not the entitlements of true renunciation. When you do a tyag, so there is something. Every karma has a phala. Every karma has a karma phala. You plant a apple tree. I mean, your apple tree is growing. It will give you fruits of apple only. Same with mangoes. You will get mangoes only in that season. You will not get apple out of a mango tree. So like that, every karma is going to have a phala. But you don't go waiting when is it going to fall, when is it going to fall, because that will waste your time. So like that, when you are doing abstention also, when you are doing a tyaga, Tyaga's phala is there, that is in Krishna's hand. He'll give it when it is required. You cannot force a tree to bear fruits early also. It happens according to its own good time. But this rajasic type of abstention which is taken place because of, Krishna says, he renounces works due to depression. Because of depression, not doing, no, I am feeling, I am more important than everything else. I am more important than the karya, I am more important than the others. My emotions give more value than everything else. What is this? This is just rajasic, is what Krishna is saying. Or due to
Shruti,
yes,
can
ji.
I say something here?
Yes, please.
When you are telling this, I am recalling an incident which happened to me.
Okay, ji.
So I was in grade 12.
Okay.
There was my prelims were there, and so we had two prelims. In the first prelim, I don't know, somehow it was my chemistry exam. I clearly remember,
Okay.
and I got really scared.
Ha.
I don't know why, but I said I'm not going to give the exam. I'm not
Okay.
going to appear for the exam.
Ha,
I
ha.
came home and I told my father,
Mhm.
I'm not going to appear for the exam tomorrow because I was thinking that I am not prepared.
Ha.
And that fear was so much stuck in that moment. Like I came
Ji.
out of the school, and in that duration of the
Break.
traveling to home,
Oh.
that fear was inculcating in my head. And I went home. I said, I'm not giving exam.
Okay.
So I was sleeping. My father came in the evening. He asked my grandma, where is she? She's sleeping and she's not waking up. I was not waking up because I didn't want to face it.
Okay.
And then he just woke me up. He said, "It's okay. Don't worry. Now you have to had enough rest, so you cannot give up. You have to give the exam. You have to appear for the exam." So I said, "I don't have time to prepare." He said, "You have full night. You have already taken enough rest now."
Ha, ha.
So he just like he psychologically he pushed me,
Ha, ha.
and it was just he said, "You have done all throughout the year. You have been preparing. Why are you
Okay.
worrying?"
Okay.
So then I woke up in the morning, and then with that heavy heart, I really went with a heavy heart, still
Ha,
with
ha.
that fear, appeared for the exam. And yes, the impact was that whatever I knew, I was absolutely blank in the during the
Okay,
examination
okay.
time because I gave up because that fear was
Ha ha.
so much stuck in my head. So I think I was just relating to what you were saying
Okay,
that
ji.
I mean, running away from my duty as a
Yes.
student.
Ji, ji. Yes,
It
there's a
was really,
dharma. No?
really.
Each of us has a dharma at every point of life. Means a youngster has a different dharma. Somebody who is retired also has a dharma. Just because work is over does not mean now I'm free or there's no other work. There's a Marathi saying "Ata urlo upkara purta," meaning I am now there for blessing everybody. No, Damliji says even a sage cannot afford to use these words. He uses this word. A sage also cannot stop progressing. The person has to keep on going. So this kind of tyaga, which is either due to depression or due to body discomfort. Sometimes the only reason people don't attend meetings is because AC is not working. That is the only reason. No, this place is AC is not working, so I will not go. Or I know of a person, a doctor, because she knew medical terminology, she would show that she is having some physical difficulty. That is why she cannot travel in the airport and she needs a wheelchair. It was just a very, what we can say, this is a Rajasic type of abstinence. What is it going to give you? It is going to give nothing, but it is because of the individual tendencies, personal preferences given so much importance. It is also said, though we should never tell somebody who's got depression, you're having a Rajasic feeling, but many times, dire ego, ahankar of the individual only gives the most sorrow. Person is giving more importance to one's emotions than everything else in the surrounding. The doctors also slightly try to bring the person out of the individual ahankaric self to something else. They try to give their mind elsewhere, or sometimes if the mind is still not, they're holding on, then they have to resort to medication also. But this is the aspect where this is, it does not give any entitlement. You are not going to gain anything. This is not. It is like you have planted a seed that is burnt. What will you get from a burnt seed? Nothing can come out. It is something like that. So that this is not at all. This is not a right tyaga at all, is what Krishna says. So what is
Shishir, I have a
yes,
question here.
yes,
When, as parents, we try to avoid putting our kids in a discomfort situation, like what we feel,
uh-huh.
what will we call about that? Like, suppose if there is sun and the child wants to go and play, and say, "Oh no, no, बहुत धूप है, अभी नहीं जाना है." Yeah, we'll not
Attachment
travel by.
only. Well, no, it is not tyaga. It is attachment. Is it not, Deepti ji?
Yeah, it is attachment, but sometimes it can cause. I mean, it can be a hindrance in
It
their
is a
personal
hindrance. It is a
progress.
hindrance. No, attachments of all types are hindrances only. Krishna says in the Gita, because parents protect a child so much, so much. But how long can a parent protect a child? First years of school years, it's fine. Give a very cocooned atmosphere. Suddenly, the same child goes to college, and the same person who has never even gone outside to drink a cool drink is now known to have cocaine. What is going to happen to parents? They are going to be in the shock of their lives. What have they have not understood that they are creating an atmosphere by hiding something from the person. Instead, the right thing would be allowed. Like best example is anybody who has learned to cycle. The first thing is we fall, is it not? When we cycle, we don't know to balance. So if the parent says no, 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 I have friends. One friend is actually in the navy also, but he doesn't drive two wheeler. He is because he does. He says he has a paranoia about driving the two wheeler. So he does not. But he's a very senior position. And now he doesn't need to also. There are people for him. He goes in the car where he has to. Otherwise, he has got drivers who will take him wherever they want. But if you see that sometimes that's an incomplete aspect which one person must remove from the life, and because of attachments, you said protection. It's not protection. Allow the child to fall a bit, hurt a bit. Let him experience the pain, and then but remain there. If
No,
you
why
have
I'm
to intervene,
asking you this is
yeah,
because I have seen
yeah,
some people around me
G.
where the kids are not able to face certain difficulties
So that
because
comes later on. These
of the
are,
overprotection
yeah,
part from the parents'
that is
point of
also a
view.
sanskar which is created, and all wrong sanskars are, they have to sadhana is about unlearning. So if the child has to sometime will come to a position where he has to
So
unlearn,
when we talk about the sacrifice here, sorry to interrupt you, are we from a parent's point of view also?
it's a little
So
tamasic.
it's tamasic only, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, because a wrong illusion is there, no, that I am doing right, but it is not right. Yes,
No, I
please.
was just trying to relate
Yes, ji.
with the
Yes, ji.
parental.
Yes, ji.
Thank you.
Alright, ji. Hari Om. Yes. So now what is sattvic? Krishna says, कार्यमित्येव यत्कर्म नियतं क्रियते अर्जुन संगम त्यक्त्वा फलं चैव सत्याग सात्विको मतः. He who performs regulated and right actions, detached and without any fruitive attractions, without a sense of duty, he discharges his deeds every day, such a renunciation is in sync with Sattva's way. So there's no special preference for works. I remember in our factory also staff, we were in the city earlier, village people have a different mentality, city people have a different mentality. So now we make the medicines and it is packed by the staff and then it has to be taken, sometimes delivered by the courier partners or sometimes somebody from our unit goes. So I had instructed the staff, you can go now. The staff looked at me and just then looked at the wristwatch. It is 4 o'clock. If I go there, it will become 4:30. So from there, I come back. It may take me 5:10. Also, it is summer now, so I don't feel like going. So what is this? How can this state of work happen? Then I said, what? So we should make the medicines. We should only go and deliver. It has to be delivered. You may take 5 minutes, little late. That should not make such a difference. Or you are not a part of this organization. You are not understand. It is not some kind of. You are a part of the organization, an important constituent. Don't you feel anything for the organization? The answer was no. So finally somebody else went and they gave it, but nevertheless that person, we could understand the person is not in part of the spirit of the organization. That person did not continue too long as well. But this is a Rajasic type where again preferences. But there was one person who's not very educated, but has taken great interest. That person, because of the Sattvic way, whatever action, difficult action, easy action, the work which requires a little more effort, which requires less effort, everything the same interest was shown as if it is the most important work. Later that person, despite being uneducated, became the head of that entire group. The person learnt better. We would say this person will talk to the herbs also now. Has understood which herb is what, quality, everything. Our quality control manager is this person who is uneducated, because that experience has come by doing sattvic actions. When sattvic actions are done, you are conscious, and in consciousness only everything is possible. Consciousness raises the spirit. So here, regulated right actions, detached, without any fruitive aspirations. Marketing executive is not going to, no, I don't want to. Many medical representatives, no, I don't want to go to meet these doctors. They don't give orders. We will send somebody else. It is a waste time. I have to travel so much. But no, duty is duty. If this is my duty, whatever comes to me, I will do that. Or software engineers, they keep passing on the programming codes to the junior employees who have just joined. What happens then? Soon after a while, the junior employees suddenly become expert, and then these people are left wondering, scratching their head, why? How did he become so superior? I am more in terms of experience. I have joined much before. But where is the real experience that has been earned? Because of Rajasic actions, nowhere was the experience earned. There was no efforts were done in that way. So it is something like that. There was a person who got Best Employee of the Year award for continuously 2 years. In USA, what he was doing was he was outsourcing his work to China and India. In the office, he would watch cat videos and do no work from morning to evening. And the employers first only had a look at the logs. So he's very regular. He comes to work at right time, goes at right time. All of this was known and he got good performance. But one day he was asked some of the basic questions, he was not able to do it. Then there was a suspicion, something is wrong. How is he managing? And how is this our best employee? And then they found out that this person, went to the logs, this person had not done any work. So what was it? It was a kind of Rajasic action where outsourcing. He said, I'll lose some more money, it's okay. But I'll not do my duty. And he just went on for a while and then it got exposed later on. So Sattvic action is not taking any preference of what is right, what is preferable or what is not preferable. Only what is right. I think they say Shreyas and Preyas. What is Shreyas, what is good, that is done, not what is pleasurable, what is preferred. When you do what is good, you are doing what is Sattvic, without any fruitive aspirations. Many times the employees can do by their actions ensure they get the raise. They don't have to keep going behind their manager and butter the manager to get the work. When the work is done, I have known of a particular person whose manager had taken an oath, I will see to that how you get a raise. But the work was so good that in the board meeting the others also complimented him and the manager had to say yes, he is one of the very good employees, and this person got the raise in spite of the wish of the manager. But all the others who kept doing haji to the manager, they did not get the raise. They thought they had done so much they got angry. One of them fought against the manager also verbally and then again went into more trouble because of a Rajasic reaction again. Again, this is the entire game of Rajas, Tamas and Sattva. It's not leaving us. Even in the 18th Adhyaya, we see Krishna saying, Sattva gives you the right way when you are renouncing. Without fruits, you're doing your action because it needs to be done, not why. Why should you do this? Why are you doing it? What are you getting? My mother was, as a pathologist, she was taking Bhagavad Gita classes in her lunch breaks. Some of her own relatives and all, what are you getting? Your health is deteriorating. Some even went to the say that you will not have a long life because of this kind of actions. What are you getting was someone else asked. Then what I am getting, I know. I am doing because it needs to be done. And exactly, that is exactly how that has helped the project, and we are seeing so many people joining who are doing because they want to do it. It's not because they are getting something in return, and that is what takes things ahead. So this is Sattvic, is what Krishna is saying, the Sattvic way of renunciation, which does not require anything in return. Krishna goes on, Na dveshtyam kushalam karma, kushale nanusajjate, tyagi sattva samavishto, medhavi chinna sanshayah. The wise man who has overcome all contradictions, in a state of sattva, are all his renounced actions. Towards difficult actions, he holds no indisposition, and pleasing actions to him hold no attraction. So I cannot be lured by pleasing actions or anything, or words. Sometimes people are manipulated because of their desires. This person is a sattvic person who cannot be manipulated by desires. He is beyond emotional manipulation or another type of manipulation. He has overcome all the contradictions. He is in the state, he understands. Sometimes when you are in a state of sattva, you don't even have questions, doubts cease to exist. You become quiet, and in that quietude, you don't really need to have any question asked also. That is the state. Doubts have also gone, and he is having no indisposition towards difficult actions. If it's a difficult action also, or easy action, it is action. Karma is karma, it is service to the divine, it is an opportunity to serve the divine. There is no higher purpose than service, and every action can be done as an act of service, whatever we do. Krishna goes on, Nai deha dhruta shakyam tyaktum karmanya sheshataha yastu karma phalatyagi satyagityam vidhiyate. Works cannot be renounced by any embodied being. Such is the nature of works for all creatures living. He who gives up only the fruits of actions, he has understood the true meaning of renunciation. So Krishna says works cannot be given up. It is not even one shana can go where you are not doing works. Every time, right now we are thinking, we are talking, we are listening, we are speaking, we are connecting the dots. All these things are all karmas only. On the outside, if somebody sees, oh, what is this? This person is simply sitting. So many hours of life have got wasted sitting in one place. In one perspective, yeah, maybe it is just sitting in one place according to that perspective. But karmas are taking place. Consciously, we are seeking, we are connecting to the Gita. This is what Adhyaya is said. When we study a scripture, we try to, that is a big karma. It is said to be one of the great karmas, which Krishna has also prescribed. Such is the nature of works. Everybody is going to be engaging in action. It could be rajasic, it could be tamasic, it could be sattvic, unconsciously or consciously. But actions are going to take place, actions are going to lead to consequences. Only that person who has given up the fruits of actions, he has understood the true meaning of renunciation. And when Karma Yoga was introduced, Krishna said, Na karma lipyate, means the karma bandha, even the karma bandha is transcended. The Upanishad also talks about the same thing. And if you see, many people say Upanishad talk about renunciation only, and Upanishad talks about realization of leaving the world and everything. It's not the case. Isha Upanishad is the best Upanishad. One particular school tried to disprove, and they even went to the extent, the student, not the school also, students of the school, every time students change, different students come. So this student tried to ensure that Isha Upanishad is removed from the list of Upanishads because it was not explaining that particular point of view, because it talks about living 100 years. Kurvan neveha karmani jijivishe chatam sama evam tvai nanya thetosti na karma lipyate nare. Meaning this is the only way. Keep performing your actions. In what state? Isha vasya medam sarva. Meaning all that is but his. Recognize the owner, perform your works, and this is live for 100 years. Seek to live 100 years. Why are you trying to run away and escape? Imagine if Swami Vivekananda lived for 100 years. India would be so different. Of course, every Atman has its journey, has his journey. Dhaneshwar Maharaj completed it at 21 only. But us, all of us, from our perspective, if we see, our aspiration should be, yes, Stirai Rangaihi Stushtuvan Swasthanubhi, give me strong body, strong mind. Let me do your work, O Krishna, or whichever Pushan, Bhagwan, or whichever Dev we want to call upon. To live a full lifespan And this Upanishad says this is the only way for mankind where you can become free from karma bandhana. Live the full lifespan continuously, and karmas will not bind you. It is like a person who has got some magical recipe that no matter how much he eats, it's not going to add calories to that person. Some people who want to lose weight, they only dream, I want some kind of food which I can eat in large volume, and still it is not adding calorie. It is like that. No new sanskaras will be created when you are detached. Your action will not create ripples. Your action will not make you more entangled into a newer trap. Instead, you are going to be free, and each action is going to be free from this karma bandhanas. That is the way of karma yoga. That's what Krishna is talking about. So, fruits, Krishna says, are of three types. Phala, of every action. Anishtam ishtam mishram cha trividham karmanah phalam bhavatya tyaginam pretya natu sanyasinam kvachit. All fruits of actions in this world and the next can thus be desired or undesired or mixed. Only one of the three. Post death, too, the beings enslaved to fruits are bound, but those who renounce truly are in all worlds free found. So, Jivan Mukta is free. What? Even after, before birth, before death, after death. Jivan Mukta will remain Jivan Mukta only. The Jivatman will go ahead. Sharira will be left behind, but again that freedom will remain. But somebody who is trapped in the strong sanskaras, trapped in the strong attachments, trapped in the world of the Indriyas, that person is bound here also, is bound elsewhere also, because these karma bandhanas have trapped that person. Probably if we introspect itself, we can see all the traps that we are getting in life are because of our attachments, our bonds. If we can remove them, we are going to be free. Probably we might even start levitating if we become completely free from all these bandhanas which are trapping us in life, making us feel tired, feeling dry, devoid of energy, sometimes devoid of hope. This is what karma bandhanas do. It is like when the bird has to fly, you tie the bird and you chain the bird. What is the happiness going to be there? Because that is, we are all those great Rajahamsas waiting to reach the Manasarovar. Instead, we are going elsewhere. That will not give us a satisfaction. We need to understand our aim, our direction. So Krishna says three types of fruits are there: desired, undesired, or a mix of desired and undesired. This is what we aspire for. Sometimes we get what we want, sometimes we don't get. Sometimes we get a little bit of what we want and a little bit of what we don't want. So we don't know whether to be happy or sad also. But this is the entire fluctuation which takes place, and Krishna says, let go of all of these. Then comes a very important question. If everything is done by karma, or is everything done by fate? If fate is deciding everything, what is the rule of karma? Is this not a right question? Don't we get this question? Is it not? Anybody has had the same question? Krishna is talking about karma, another side is talking about the divine will. So ultimately, is it not the daiva or fate of an individual? Is fate so powerful? Or is there anything called free will also in human existence? Or is everything running according to the fate? Yes, please. Is this a question that has come to anyone? Yes?
Yes, it has.
It has. Okay, Deepti. Yes, Srinivasi wants to share something.
Your karma decides your fate.
Our karma decides. But Srinivasi, by fate, if I am born with a disease, I cannot participate in a particular competition because of the disease. So what has happened here? What karma can undo that?
It's a karma of your maybe past
My
birth.
past birth. My past birth. So, but then if that is the case, then past birth karma are going to decide everything.
See, it's like carry forward balance
Carry
in
forward
your
balance. Okay.
carry forward, whether it is papa or whether it is punya.
But then question is there destiny is already pre-written? Is destiny already written?
Yes,
It is already written.
100%.
It is.
Yes.
Then
But
what
then
about free
sometimes
will?
we say that we can change our destiny with our actions, like it's also
Okay, so
said.
that is also, there is something, means there is a free will for us to alter our probably fate. Destiny is written. Destiny is written. But what is the ultimate fate of an individual? That can probably change. That is something. We'll just see what Krishna is talking
We
about
can overcome the barriers sometimes with our
sometimes.
like effort and with our willpower.
Yes, this is an
We
interesting.
overcome.
Yes, yes,
But
yes.
you are overcoming the barriers, that is also destined.
Yes, is it not? Now so now one very nice, that's wonderful, Srinivasji. So one very nice incident of a story of Damleji's guru, Nana Maharaj Taranekar of Indore. He had gone in search of a darshan of Krishna, and he has spent his time with so much sadhana and still did not get the darshana. And that time, when he was in the evening after he was near the river, he was doing the parikrama was going on, and then he suddenly lost all interest. He said, "What is this? In spite of all of this, Krishna is not giving his darshan." And he decides while he was doing offering the arghya into the water, that time he said, I should also go into the water only and not come out. Let that be the end of me, is what he thought. Darshana has not come, I have not, God is not giving me darshana. Now these are all saints have got some, these are sattvic, these are not rajasic feelings, these are sattvic feelings which come for a purpose also. If you see Ramakrishna Paramans was crying on the street, lying down, and is like, Ma, you are not coming to me. People thought, what is wrong with this person? Nobody knew what his pining was, and later on how Ma came to him also. So this is a different aspect. But we're not pinpointing or touching on anybody's bhakti at all. But this feeling was very genuine. And at that time, he just saw behind there was a young lad. That had a lad had a peacock feather on the top and a kamandalu in hand, and he looked at him and immediately understood this is Krishna only. It was a great stage, and he could recognize it as Krishna, and he suddenly felt blessed that Krishna has come. So he was all tired and all, but still he went to hug him. That time in Brijabhasha, that young lad said, "Thade rahiyo Panditji, wait." And then he gives him from the kamandalu a little bit of that jala, and that jala, when he does the prashana of that jala, he suddenly feels all the tiredness has disappeared. And now he feels relaxed, happy, darshan is done. Then he asks a question. He says, एक बात एकांत में सुन लो जगदाधार, थारे मारे कर्म, तो प्रभु का क्या उपकार? Means what is the role of grace? If everything is done by karma only, if karma is doing everything, what is the role of grace? Where is the intervention of grace? And that was the question. That is the question which is written in the biography, also the Pothi of Nana Maharaj. It has been mentioned by the writer. And then the reaction, Krishna's typical reaction. He sometimes doesn't answer. He gave a big laugh, and then afterwards he just went away without answering that question. So what is the answer? What is the role of grace? So that is something which we can see. We can see in this shloka. The next three shlokas are going to answer that question. 13, 14 and 15. There is something called free will also. Fate has a role. It's not that fate is not there. Fate has a role, but fate is not having the power to put a full stop in a person's life. It can decide some factors. There is something called free will also. What is this? What is the role? How much role each has to play, or what are the factors Krishna is going to say? What is it? How is it siddhi is attained? How karma can become a siddha karma? That is what Krishna is saying. Let us see. He says 5 factors. 13th shloka. Panchaitani mahabaho karanani nibodhame sankhya krutante proktani siddhaye sarva karmanam. O Arjuna, listen from me as I shall reveal the 5 main causes to you. I shall unveil as per the wisdom of the ancient instruction by which man attains in all his works a perfection. Krishna says, listen, I will tell you, there are 5 causes. This is the ancient truth. He says, I will reveal that to you. It is by this that siddhis have been gained when these 5 factors are understood and worked upon. What is this? Because we have heard of yogis attaining great siddhis. Our ancient ones were masters of science also, masters of spirit also. They were experts. 64 art forms a single person could be a master of. That was the capacity of human individual's might. So let us see what Krishna is saying. Adhishthanam tatha karta karanam cha pruthak vidham vividhascha pruthak cheshtha daivam chaivatra panchamam. The 5 comprise the physical body as the base. So first is the physical body, the first of the elements. Krishna has told in the Kshetra Kshetrajna also, Idam Shariram Kaunteya. We cannot neglect the physical body because it is something which is very important. It is our vehicle for life. It is the vehicle in which we are journeying. So will we take care of our vehicle? Will we not maintain it properly? Or we will just, it's alright, let me use it as much as I can and then destroy it. I have a friend who says he has already assumed his life is complete by the age of 50. That's all. He says he's not looking beyond 50 at all. And then I have seen people who say life begins after 60. Somebody has told life begins after 70. Now, what is this? What is the difference? Well, no, Sharira is looked after well, but this person is entering into the habit of smoking and he says, my body will not survive its onslaught. I am going towards that direction, towards 50. What's going to happen? We know how the world changes in 4 years, 5 years, 10 years. So many things happen. Sometimes by years, in 1 year, things can change. Are we going to miss out on everything just because of our own attachment to something else, our own desires, and ignore our body? So body cannot be ignored. Body is the number one aspect, is what Krishna is saying. Then the doer, whose command it obeys. Who is the sharir listening to? Is the sharir listening to the karta, who is driven by ahankar, or is the sharir listening to the karta, who is the instrument of the divine? Is it individual ego that is driving the body, or is it something else, a divine force working in the body? That is the second aspect. The doer, who is the doer? Is it the ahankaric ego person who is doing the doer, or is it the divine that is functioning? That is the factor number 2. The different kinds of efforts, karmas, the different efforts that a person takes, these are factor number 3. The efforts that a person takes. I gave the example of my sister. She was told by the doctor that after this ligament injury, you will not be able to run, forget anything, you are able to walk, be happy with that. And next year you will have to walk in crutches only, is what he had told her. Now she went to a very hard effort, so much. She would take 3 hours of physiotherapy, one more place, then she would go to a gym. All of this she was taking. Everybody said this is going to be unsustainable for the body, what she is doing is wrong, she is going to spoil everything, she is going to injure herself further. But she closed her ears because her mind was telling, no, I will not accept this, I will not resign to this, I am not going to become like this, I will do something. And unbelievably she represented the university. Many don't get a chance to represent only, that is how the competition is. But she went there, and not just that, she did everything that she wanted to do. She wanted to participate in dance, which she did that also, everything, forgetting. Nobody could even believe this was the same girl who was on crutches. So efforts, we have a capacity of doing superhuman efforts. Every human being is endowed with that capacity. That is a special aspect. Probably that is why Krishna or the divine has chosen human beings with a superior mind, because we have the power of yatna, we have the power of reshaping even the world if we do it right. If the karta is right, if it is ahankar, we will just destroy it, and then we will again face the consequences of destroying nature. So yes, one is the sharir, next is the doer, the karta, the third are the different efforts. Then the senses. Again, efforts are connected with indriyas. While you are doing your efforts, are your indriyas diverting you? Are your indriyas? Sometimes people have now, when we were doing the construction, now normally we say don't take alcohol, don't this is not good for health, all of it. And I was all quite ideal mindset, and I just went, what, these construction workers are taking alcohol before construction, this is not right, this is not correct. So I went, and the person who was supervising, he was also a senior ashramite only, he told me, leave it. I was like, but they're taking alcohol, it's bad one, he should not do this. He said, you just take that alcohol out from his hand, you will see his hands will start shaking, he will not be able to do his work. The body here is dependent, the body, his indriyas have taken so much control that for doing the yatna, he is doing unbelievable efforts. But for doing the efforts, now he is dependent on some other stimulant, meaning the senses, the indriyas have taken control. Now this person's karta bhava is now half transmitted into the senses also, indriyas, it is energies are diverted in that direction also. So that is a waste. So again, indriyas have to be controlled. We have to use your indriyas. Our indriyas are for our using, not for us to be utilized by them. You are conscious, get the best smell, see the best thing, taste the best food, hear the best music, touch the best, nicest, softest thing, best experience. All indriyas can be used by you. But when you are used by indriyas, life comes crashing down, becomes naraka, as what Krishna has told. So again, indriyas have their role. That is indriyas. Then finally it is the individual's governing fate, and then there is a fate which is factor number 5. So there are 5 factors. Fate is 1, senses, effort, command, who is giving the command, the karta, and the sharira. These 5 factors are there. We'll look at the next shloka and then look at the aspect of fate as well. 15th one. Sharira vang manobhihi yat karma prarabhate naraha nyayam va viparitam va panchayate tasya hetavaha. The five elements constitute and interact to create the governing cause by which all beings act. They chisel and mold man's development and outcome and define what his deeds of mind, body, and speech become. So, these five factors only decide what you do with your mind, what you do with your speech, what you do with your sharira. Whatever three types of, we talked about tapa also, is it not? Sharir tapa, vak tapa, and manas tapa. Well, ultimately, these five factors are going to affect your tapa also, and what you are doing. These are the five factors, and they work in tandem, is what Krishna is saying. A permutation and combination of these five factors. What is it doing? It is making a stone into a beautiful murti, something like that. What a Shilpakar does. He just ordinary stone becomes a beautiful murti because how does it become? Because of the hammers. Blows are hit again and again. Extra portions are removed slowly, slowly from this side, that side, all directions. If the emotions were there, if the stone had indriyas like human beings, every time the hit was received, it would cry, it would shout. But we don't see that. But what about us human beings? We are also being treated by the divine. Sri Aurobindo calls pain the hammer of God. Pain is nothing but the hammer of God. God is working on us, trying to make us, molding us into something what we are or what we are meant to be. It is said when ahankar is there, that is when pain is going to remain. When ahankar disappears, pain also starts disappearing. So these five factors work is what Krishna is saying. Fate has a role, but fate does not have the role. Now before we just go a little bit into it, I would like to just ask if anybody knows of this person called Dashrath Manji. Yes? Have you heard of this name? Anybody? He was a laborer in a... Yes, please. Anybody has heard of Dr. Poonamji?
I think it's in Jharkhand or where
Yes.
he has
Yes,
made
exactly.
a
Yes, yes. But
because his
He's made a tunnel
yes,
to between the two mountains. He's got a road for the people like for 20
yes,
years.
yes.
Is the one?
Yes, exactly, exactly. Now you just look at him from a point of view, like laborer. What people, the moment they say laborer, no, no, system is like this, world is like this, laborer's life only. He's going to live as a laborer, he's going to die as a laborer. No, world will not remember anything about him. Then he's in a remote place where even votes are not important from that place, so there's no development in that village. Government also doesn't go to canvass that place, so there's no question of any development. Now look at this. If you look at fate, will you say a laborer in a very poor village in a remote? Can you say it's a very good fate for a person born? Some people are born with silver spoons, but this is not. There's no spoon only in this place. This person is born like this. Would you call it a great fate? If you look at the five factors, we'll say no. Daiva is bad here. In a way, it is bad only. Okay, it would have been better if he has got a better fate. It would have been nicer. All these things we can only imagine. Alright, if that was not bad enough, he falls in love with a lady, he gets married, he's got a wife, and that wife falls sick. Now that is so sad. Good thing is, yes, he's got married, that is fine. But now again, bad fate, that wife has got sick. It is disturbing, it is wrong. Now, more bad fate, there is no hospital in that village only. Now, what to do? Now, still bad fate, but he doesn't surrender there also. He says, no, I'll take my wife to a hospital in another village. Or it's another city, I will cross the... Now, on the way, the road is very treacherous. It's a difficult road, a long journey. And wife dies on the way. Now, would you call it good fate? Not at all a good fate, is it not? Worst fate possible. Normally, now if you look at the role of Indriyas, when this fate of death or something like this happens, can he not just get into the habit of drinking and sit and cursing, this is my life, zindagi ne zindagi par gham diye, only gham life has given me only sorrow, and sit drinking, leaving everything else, or give up? It would be a renunciation, is it not? But would it be a sattvic one or would it be a tamasic one? It would be a tamasic one if he did it. But he didn't do that also. Now what? Then he would be angry, is it not? Angry with the world, angry with God, angry with everybody around. Nobody took my wife. No, he takes his anger out at something else. He takes his anger out at the mountain. Now we see ahankar is not there. Ahankar was there, he would have got angry. I don't like this, world is like this. people sit and say, this is happening in the world, that's happening in the world, so I don't do anything. No, he did not accept that. He did not allow that force of ego to become the karta or driver for him. Instead, he tries to do loka sangraha, meaning he takes his anger. Anger is there, a real, genuine human emotion. This mountain killed my wife, I will take revenge. It's like children, they get hit by the wall. We tell the children, go and hit the wall. And the children stop crying after hitting the wall because somewhere they feel satisfied. He says, no, it's all right. My wife will not come back. But may there never be another Dashrath Manji in this village. This should not happen. So he does that. Now he does not, he's a laborer. He's not got big deep pockets. He's not got this members in the real estate construction business and all. People have, they have this JCBs and everything. They can quickly call anywhere. They one phone call and they appear. It is in a remote place. Nobody will come. He doesn't have the money. Doesn't have a tool also to do that. He doesn't have a drilling machine. What does he have? He has just simple hand tools that a laborer has. So what does he do? He starts going to do the impossible. He starts going to break the mountain. One man going to break the mountain. People call him mad. People call him fool. People say this is satya gaya hai, pagal ho gaya hai. What not would have been told to him. So many people would have come and gone, laughed at him, mocked at him. So many things would have happened. What did he do with his indriyas? His ears were hearing all the taunts. He left them. He didn't allow those indriyas to control. But yatna, if his efforts which he is taking, they were not human efforts. They were divine efforts, supra-human efforts, where one individual is able to regulatedly concerted actions. This is sadhana. Regularly he kept on doing that, and not for 1 year, 2 years, several years. And what did he do after that? He reduced the distance by, one man reduced the distance by almost nearly 30 to 40 kilometers, if I am not mistaken. One man could do that, and everybody now goes on the same road that he has paved. So look at the entire game which has taken place. All these 5 factors have worked. Physical body was strong because he was a laborer. That is a positive aspect. Fate was very, very bad, but physical body was strong. Next, karta, he didn't allow emotions or ahankar to become the karta. Divine could function even in this sad moment of his life also. Divine could find an Arjuna in him and do the work that was meant. Through him, it was a sacrifice which he had to pay the price. He lost his beautiful wife who would never come back again for him. But he didn't allow his personal sorrow to take control of everything else. Instead, he went on again and again with regulated efforts. And that is how, and he becomes the mountain man. A movie is made long after his death also. He is still remembered. Right now, today we are discussing a laborer from some village in some corner, remote corner. How can, we are all educated that way. Not like, but we are discussing about whom? Well, we are saluting his efforts. We don't call him an ordinary laborer. He is a divine human being. As an example, how inspiring it is that one man can break the mountain. And it is really, it's not a poetic speech of somebody. The poets can write beautiful things. But who is going to materially manifest? This man has written, he has become the beautiful poem. A story of love, a story of determination, a story of human effort not willing to bow in front of fate. Fate has written only bad news everywhere for him all his life. But he did not surrender, he stood
Hari
tall.
Om.
Hari Om ji. Yes, Geeta ji wants to share something. Yes? Alright, Hari Om. So, yes, so this is what, this is how the 5 factors work. These are the 5 factors that work, and in our life also, this is what Krishna is saying. They are the ones, they work in combination. So probably we just have to understand what are the 5 factors in any moment. What are we doing? Is it my ahankar that is driving the action? Are my indriyas disturbing me? Are my efforts falling flat anywhere? If these are the factors, we can have, actually we know that many people have experienced. Prabhu ko niyam badalte dekha. So many times. For me, I came to my teacher, my Guruji. A lot of people told this fellow's life is now gone, wasted, so many things. That was nearly 10 years back. But I was confident of what I have done, and I stayed with him. And I got such nice experiences. Now, if you see, by astrology, I was supposed to be separated from my family, according to astrology. So that way I'm separated from my family, but I'm in the same city. My family calls me even for simple TVs, some problem is that I can reach in 10 minutes. I'm not away at all. So it is like God has arranged something. One thing was supposed, fate had decided something, but something else happened. So fate, if you see, Sri Aurobindo also says we cannot predict. That is the beauty of human life. Until the last minute, the stars can talk about position, stars can talk about possibilities, but until the manifestation takes place in the last stage, We cannot. There's a story of yeah, Indra and Yama. I think we have seen that, is it not? The Narada story of Indra and Yama, where Narada just tells Indra, no, no, Yama is supreme. Indra says, no, I am supreme. I am the Deva of all the Devas. I am the Lord of the Devas. He said, but Yama has the follower of all the niyamas, and everybody has to obey to Yama's niyam. They are below that. And then Narada sees, then at that time they see a bird. He says, this bird's time has come now. Indra, can you save him? Indra says, yes, I can save him. I will take this bird. This bird is growing in a tropical place. I will take it to a place where it is not its habitat. So if Yama comes, Yama is powerful only at that moment. I delay that moment, it is over. Many people have actually, yogis have been able to push that time. That is by their sadhana, siddhi. But now Indra is having ahankar inside of him. So it is karta is again Indra's ahankar, not the divine will. So the date may not be pushed. But now what happens? He takes that bird and takes it far away. Thinking now if Yama comes to that place and realizes also that I have to take and the bird has been moved by Indra, he'll have to take so much time to reach this place. By that moment will pass. And he's just smiling and he looks at Narada and says, see, now I have saved this bird. Narada just says Narayana, Narayana. And that next second they hear Yama's buffalo is there, Yama is walking slowly. And Yama comes and does full pranam to Indra. And he says, and Indra is shocked. He also does pranam to Yama and he says, you are great. He says, no, no, you are great. He's like, what? You came here. No, that is why I am doing pranam to you, because I had to take this bird from here. I had no idea how I'll find a bird in this place. Then after seeing you, I saw you only must have brought this bird, so I could take it. Meaning, ultimately, this is the full game. Why they say karma no gyan? It's the deep nature of karmic flux. We don't know. But if we want to become active participants, Krishna has given us 5 factors. Fate cannot be in our hand, but fate should not get that much power to that it can put a full stop in our life. Fate can create certain circumstances, but fate cannot write the destiny. So that is probably what we see. We'll stop here and
Can I
yes,
can I
please.
share a
Okay.
short story like
All
very
right, Ji. All right.
around how we talk about karma. So there was once a village.
Okay.
So and those people they used to worship like not Indra because he
Okay.
and but other gods and the cattle and like
Hmm.
that they are giving us and
Ji.
the land. So Indra got really, really angry that I give you rain, I give you everything, and you are not praying me, you're not treating me like the divine. So he cursed them that for 12 years there'll be no rain in this village.
Hmm.
And then they all of them were very big devotees of Shiva also. So they then Indra was like, okay. Then they started saying sorry and all. He said, okay, fine. If you go to Shiva
Hmm.
and then if he plays his damru, then you will get the rain.
Okay.
So then, but Indra was smart enough. He went to Shiva and said, and see, listen, people will come and they will try to disturb you and they will say all these things. So give me a promise that you will not play your drum for 12 years. So Shiva being Bholenath, he said in his way, okay, fine, everything yes, everything yes. Now, there was a farmer amongst all the lot, and I mean, they all went to Shiva. Shiva said, and Shiva could not do anything because he had promised. And there was one farmer. Every single day, he used to go to the farm with all the I mean, equipment that he had, and used to till the land
Okay.
and sow the seeds there. And everybody was like, "Why are you doing? You know, for 12 years there'll be no rain." But he did not pay heed to any Dani. And for 3 years he continuously did that, and Parvati was looking and watching that person. And then he said to Shiva, listen Shiva, I know you have promised and you are not going to play damru also for 12 years, but what if you forget to play damru?
Hmm.
So Shiva said, "Why will I forget? Like I will not forget." He said, "Okay, I mean, assume that you will forget. So just try, na." He was just trying to persuade. What is happening? See, this person is also doing. So
Okay.
Shiva agreed, and Shiva
Okay.
started playing the
Okay,
tamru,
Ji.
thinking that he might forget because
Okay.
Parvati has said
Ji, ji.
he agreed again, because he has to say yes to everybody.
Ji.
So he did it. And then
The rain
because
falls. Vrishti
Shiva
is
would
there.
pray, the rain was falling. It started pouring heavily, and everybody was, how did this happen? And then what happened is that this person who was tilling the land and sowing the
Huh.
seeds every single day for 3 years, what they saw is that when the rain was pouring, it was all nice. He actually got the best field
Yes,
and
yes,
best crop,
yes.
and the others whose farms were all barren,
They did not
so
get anything.
they did not get anything. And then they realized, because they were treating him like the pagal ho gaya, kya kar
Yes,
raha hai?
yes, yes.
So then they realized that because he said, see, this is my, every day he used to tell, this is my karma, I have to do it. This is my karma, I have to do it.
Hmm.
I don't have to get lured by this. I can't sit idle. I can't let
Yes,
my,
yes,
if I
yes.
take it from tamasic thing in my head. So he kept on doing it. And that's what he got the reward. He did not give up on his karma. He did not let his Indriyas take over it. And he was
Ji,
just,
ji, ji.
even the
Perfectly
fate was
identified.
very, very bad. With
Yes, yes,
Indira giving a curse, Shiva not
yes,
being
yes.
supporting. But he was just
Ji, ji,
doing it
indeed.
because, so he was just, I could relate to this.
That is wonderful, and that is what Gita must be related to life. That is when it comes alive. This shloka Krishna has revealed 5 factors only, but these 5 factors again, karma is so important, and probably again this emphasizes that we need not. Things may be bad sometimes. What we like, we may not see any good sign in something also, but our duty we must go on. We will see something higher than dharma also revealed later on in this Gita's last part. Tomorrow we will not be able to complete the session, of course. Maybe we may require another day because Adhyaya is a little longer. So if we can we continue on Saturday as well, the 18th Adhyaya? Yes? Ji, ji. All right, all right. The sessions will also be recorded anyway, definitely. Yes, ji.
I
All
am
right.
so glad, Shashiji, that when we are just listening to Gita, so whatever I could remember from like say my conscious alive, I am able to relate to each and every incident,
Ji, ji. And
or
many
what has like
participants have messaged me, they enjoy
affected
your
me
examples.
beautifully or very.
Ji, ji. Ji, ji.
That's a beautiful feeling.
Ji, ji.
That's a
Thank
beautiful
you for
feeling.
sharing. Many participants have actually shared to me a message also that they very much enjoy these practical aspects. They make the Gita more understandable also. So, all right, I think we'll conclude with the Shanti Mantra. Then, any queries are there, you are welcome. Hari Om. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् हरि ओम तत्सत कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं ओम शांति शांति हरि हरि ओम एनी क्वेरीज मोस्ट वेलकम हरि ओम जी हरि ओम
I have a small
Hari
question.
Om.
I mean, we are
जी
almost at the end of Gita, but still, I have this question which lingers on my mind: is when we are all like Gita says, we are all
वन
one. It's divine is within us, like Krishna is there within us. Why is there this Maya Jal all the time?
दिस इज प्रकृति's game, no, this is the game of prakriti.
Because we are all controlled by this one divine thing.
It is
Why do
an
we have? Why do we
experiment,
go
it is an
around?
experiment the divine has taken, Deepti ji. It is like a choice has been given to human beings. If we did not, we were never got a choice to do right or wrong. There we would be robots, is it not? We will be programmed robots.
Yeah.
So the freedom was
Yes.
given, and this is an experiment whether we use this freedom for good or bad. Whether we can use to be in nature's harmony, or we can break the harmony of nature within ourselves or with the around surrounding also. So that is probably, and there is a time, if you see slowly there's an evolution taking place in the world also. Earlier there was barbaric life completely. Now it is restricted to pockets of individual barbaric acts. People do that. People, there's a system to attack, capture these people and put them in prisons and other things. But still, nature is there. Human nature, what was bad is bad now also. But slowly a conscious awakening takes place. So much mingling of people takes place. Invasions took place. Genetic change and transfers took place across the world. So many. It was like initially from barbaric societies to, in India, of course, we had a great parampara. But even that fell, is it not? The great Maha universities of Nalanda, Takshashila, all of them, despite getting that highest Brahma Vidya, somewhere in the material world was very much advanced by the West in the Industrial Revolution. Though we were masters of the spiritual world and we were living a material life also, but something happened where we allowed ourselves to be dominated. Then material growth started happening, and now the same countries which are supposed to be the freedom of development, I mean, symbols of development and developed world, we are seeing great fault lines in those countries. So again, it's like a full permutation combination of things going. But a rise is taking place. India is again rising. We say rise of Asia after a big gap also. That is again taking place. Asia is now becoming stronger. And slowly, they say Bharat is going to become Jagat Guru. Probably we are watching that happening. But this is a full human evolution. Probably divine is allowing us to fall, get hurt, like parents allow children to cycle and allow mistakes to take place. We saw the approach, like when we saw the time in our human concept, it is too fast. It is too fast when it goes at the speed of the divine. It's a different scale of time only. So, like we said, rain during rain times, the insects come inside and they die in 2 hours. Their entire lifespan is complete, and we don't shed a single tear. Why? Because we see a greater thing, grander scheme of things. This is a life cycle we understand. Probably God is also doing something similar, Dipti But yes, it is something, and we need not accept also. Why should we accept all the karma? Why we are not supposed to accept this as human fate? We want to alter it. We'll take God's blessings to alter it, but we'll take, and our karma can be so strong. Transformations can be possible, and every place transformation is possible, any kshetra, and that is how a larger transformation takes place. It starts always with one place, and slowly it is there which it spreads. That is conscious change. They say future of the world is also that only. We have a good future. There is an awakened consciousness. Slowly it will start manifesting. Till then we'll have to regroup, become more strong, make ourselves also good instruments. Like now you have children, you will raise them in those tendencies, and that is how a mass development for the betterment of the world will take place. But this is a full human cycle, we can say. As Sri Aurobindo has written a beautiful book on it. The entire human cycle, how things happen, we rise in consciousness. There is evolution, there is involution. This is a cycle which takes place. Ji, yes, please.
Hariom.
Hariom ji, Hariom.
Sushruji,
Yes, ji.
there is one Kadambari in Marathi,
Okay.
Mrutyunjay,
Mrityunjay, okay, ji.
where at one point the Ashwasthama is narrating to Karna
Hmm.
that this world, this universe,
Hmm.
it is just a Maya. It's
Hmm.
not. It has no physical entity. It is just a
That is, yes, that is in that
literal,
novel,
literal.
but Krishna is not calling this world as only Maya and dismissing the world. Krishna is not dismissing it. Is like Mayapi Parabrahma Prasantasya Santarupinam. Let us assume Maya is also a functioning of Prakriti. Who is Prakriti? Counterpart of Purusha. Purusha is what? The supreme divine. Why is Purusha giving the job to Prakriti? Not because he's careless or he doesn't care of what's happening. He also has a conscious role. He's a silent participant. There is a game going on between Purusha and Prakriti. That dance is what is
Leela.
giving us. Yes,
Leela.
perfectly said. Yes, Dr. Bhavanaji. Yes, Leela is also there, participating in the rasa of life. Leela is there in Prakriti, Maya is also there. Maya is illusion of tamas. But everything is not Maya, there is Leela also. Yes, yes, because these are interpretations which people give. Everybody is entitled for the interpretations. Gita, Krishna tells very strongly, Ihaiva Tairjitaha Sargo, Ihaiva, he says, in this world, realization must be got here. Why here then? Why did he not say, leave this world, go? Arjuna, just let it go. Anyway, this is again, there was a story of Kurukshetra. Who dies there is going to get moksha. That place was sanctified by a Kuru king who got a blessing. He had done great punyas. So that punya was done so much, it was decided. That was why Kurukshetra was chosen. Whoever dies there is going to get moksha was decided. So why take part in the battle itself in first place then? So no, Srinivasi, that aspect is it is a freedom of people write novels. They have different aspects, but because what happens is lot of youngsters have stopped giving importance to their physical body, have stopped giving importance to the world, and that is why India could also be invaded in the first place, where divine will do the work. Who is going to divine is wanting you? You are the shield. You are the instrument of the divine. Are you going to wait for divine to come? That is the aspect. Maya, we cannot run away. Swami Vivekananda was very firm about it. He actually was. He said, "No, this we need. I need 100,000 people who are going to work for the world, for the country." He wanted lions working for. Why was if everything was Maya? Why would he want only that? But these are interpretations. We will say we were not in the Gita. At least we see everything is not completely Maya is not an illusion because there are two schools. There is Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. There is also Brahma Satyam Jagat Satyam. Jivo Brahmaiva Naparam. If you take it, Anandamayam Jagadidam Sarvam. This, of course, this is my verse only. It is not from the Upanishad. Anandamayam Jagadidam Sarvam Parabrahmanam Avartitam. This world itself, this Jagat is Ananda. It has descended from the Parabrahma. Parabrahmanam Avartitam. Mayapi Parabrahma. Maya is also part of that Parabrahma because everything has descended from Parabrahman only. What is it? Prasantasya Santarupinam, a finite form of the infinite. It's a finite trap which has been created, but it is still a finite trap of the infinite. Krishna says, Maya metam tarantite. Crossing Maya, you can come to me. So Maya is becoming a conduit for us to reach the divine. We have to walk through that Maya and then cross the wheel. So if you take out Maya, you will not be able to. It is like sometimes a butterfly was struggling in coming out of the pupa, and the botanist saw it was very difficult. He felt so sad that this butterfly is now suffering so much. I should help the butterfly, and the botanist slightly tore the pupa with his hands without injuring the butterfly. The butterfly came out because of the help, but to the shock of the botanist, the butterfly was crippled throughout its life because that escape and coming out of that pupa itself requires the efforts and gives the strength for the butterfly to take it to its wings and it can fly. The very struggle only was removed. And what happened? It became a crippled butterfly all life. That was a very sad lesson for the botanist. Because the botanist is saying only from that immediate point of view and not from the higher point of view. So there is a game, there is a direction, there is a continuous direction. Kalki is going to come. We don't know how he is going to come, of course, but how that is going to be. If we are lucky, we may see in our births also, or we'll have to come in another janma and watch and probably participate. We can aspire to see in this janma, and for that, ground has to be ready. No, when even Prime Minister has to come to a city, cleaning has to be done. So many things have to be done. So when an avatar has to come, everybody is going to wait. Avatar will come on their own, or people will have to create a ground for the manifestation. So that is what Sri Aurobindo talked about, supramental manifestation. He said we have to become instruments, become the Adhar for the descent of the divinity. We should become the instrument, clearing up everything. That is what. So that is something. Fortunately, we did not have much discussion on Mayavad because that goes on very long and extended. It would take us away from the Gita. But at least wherever Maya was referred to in the Gita, Krishna is bringing Arjuna back on track. Meaning, we can explore. I would not try to quote or say this saint is wrong or that person's quoting is different. I am nobody to pronounce on any other person's interpretation. But at least from the Gita's light, from what we see, yes, this is having a role, it has a purpose. Yes, ji. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Ji. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Rajshri ji.
Good night.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Ji.
Hari Om ji.
Hari Om. Ji. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಹರಿ ಓಂ ಜಿ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಜಿ. ಹರಿ ಓಂ ಜಿ. ಹರಿ ಓಂ. ಹರಿ ಓಂ.